Hi guys, just off to do another repair today. It's only a shower repair, but one of the things I do want to say is in Spain there's a lot of people that quite simply can't get the tools. So I do understand that from people's point of view as well, because a lot of the stuff here is absolute garbage or overpriced. So personally, like my spanner sets, etc., they've come from Germany. And I generally order my tools from Screwfix, and like if I need power tools and things like that, I generally don't buy locally at all when it comes to power tools and spanners. Even a lot of stuff locally is the Chinese stuff where you crank it and nothing happens. You just end up wearing the head because the metal on the spanner doesn't really work. It's more like using a anodized piece of plastic than a forged piece of equipment. So I do get some work here, and that's one of the things I do want to stress is, like, for example, somebody actually asked me to put a picture on a wall. As she said herself, she ain't got a drill, so why, it makes more sense to give me money to come around, put it on the wall for her, and use my drill and everything else, than her going to buy a drill that she's only going to use to hang a picture on the wall. And in this case, it's to do with a shower, which just requires some spanners and stuff. But like I said, a lot of the problem is you can spend half a day trying to get the stuff, and then it becomes single use because a lot of the tools ain't very good anyway. So in this case, it's going to be an in and out for me in about 15 minutes once I get there. But at the same time, I know that they're going to be hassle free because all the equipment's right and I brought the right stuff for them. But I do get these little pottering around jobs, and it's the sort of thing that if you look at living in Spain, there is opportunity to do this stuff. There's a growing aging population, and I've got to admit, I'm looking at air conditioning fitting at the moment, disabled adaptions, because as people get older they need some extra handrails and stuff on things, but also helps if the concrete was built right in the first place on the house, but that's another story for another day. Doing plumbing correctly, and although Igor does mainly construction side, I'm looking more on the maintenance side myself, because I like maintenance. I don't want to be covered in cement. I don't want to be moving a wheelbarrow down all afternoon and stuff. I'd done that when I was younger, and as you probably know, I slipped my disc again, and that's one of the reasons I try and avoid doing the heavy stuff that I used to do when I was much younger, when you're just like, just get on with it. But at the same time, all the maintenance stuff I do anyway. Electrics, plumbing, air conditioning, I'm just going to look at getting into now, because I do bigger systems, and I've been doing bigger systems for a period of time, but I predominantly deal with the financing side and identification and the square meterage, coverage, etc. So these little box units and the split units, the household air conditioning units, is something I've not really covered, because I predominantly work on the bigger stuff. So I'm looking at getting trained on it professionally, so it's at a standard I'm happy with, and I'll also order all the equipment from the UK as well from people I work with, because most of the guys I work with, when I say work with, it's not on a daily basis. They're people I'm associated with for the last 25 years. For example, we've got Carrier, Toshiba trained, Johnson Controls, big branded people that have actually working for the big companies that manufacture their own equipment, and as such the standard of their training is a lot higher. The engineers have good quality, but they keep going, oh, go on this training course. I'm like, I don't want to spend £2,000 on a course. That's for a commercial level. Here in Spain, everything's these little systems that cost about €400 or €500. I'm not talking like installing €2 million units. So this is the problem, trying to get something just to make sure that everything's right, the gassing and the installations are all up to EU standard, regardless if people don't install them to EU standard here. I will be installing to EU standard. The same with swimming pools. One of the things I've noticed in the last couple of days that Zoe got sick from the swimming pool. I did the video of the swimming pool. I don't think their pumps are working properly, and I certainly have doubts that they've been doing chemicals. They haven't been putting the chlorine and stuff in it. So I've actually ordered a pH kit as well as a bacterial test kit for different things from eBay. And I'm also speaking to some people in the UK as well on the swimming pool side, because I want to bring the standard up. So even if for example you live in here and ask me, can you go and test the water for me, you can pay 20 euros and I'll come and test it, give you the samples, give you a record of what I found. Because I can honestly say that if you're paying for a company to maintain it and they skip on the chemicals, they're saving a fair bit of money on those chemicals. Because you have a look around when you're around in Spain, you can see chemicals ain't cheap. So if that gets pocketed because they don't bother doing it, they don't do the weekly testing, they don't do the adding the chlorine, they don't do whatever type of system it is, then honestly you're being ripped off. But at the same time, I do understand from their point of view as well, which is when you get people not paying their well, the summer's one, the taxes, but there's also the community fees. So if they ain't paying for their community fees, then the budgets for the maintenance is reduced because they're not receiving the amount that they've been agreed to do. At the same time, people are moaning, we need this, we need that, but nobody's paying for it. So I do understand from both sides, because it's a bit like a couple of friends of ours not far. There's that many people that don't pay their community fees. The swimming pool's actually out of use because it's not safe. Now, my point being is, I'll do some sample testing myself. It's not to make an issue of it, it's just to actually highlight the issue to the community that the swimming pools needs treating, but also I have concerns over the pumps and other bits and pieces. Now, the other thing is, there's not regular meetings. I know there's annual meetings and stuff, but it's not enough when you have issues within a community. It's better to have a monthly meeting, in all honesty, because then you're highlighting the regular issues. Because if you highlight the regular ones, you can get to a point where you are fixing it. Like that, if the swimming pool's a problem in the summer season, proactively we should be hassling the ones that are coming here on holiday that owe money on community charges. It's not rocket science, is it? So that's one of the things I do want to say is, it's like this, it's a test, it'll show the test, they'll have all the information relating to what's been found, and at the same time, it's not to sort of have a gripe, but simply say, we need to do something about this. In the same way, you may actually, this is why I'm sort of saying, well, we'll do the water testing for other people as well, because buying a full kit, not just the pH paper and stuff, isn't exactly cheap. But at the same time, I'm looking at doing this on a regular basis also for private pools as well, and getting into that side. I know Andreas is already doing some pool servicing as well, and this is the thing, with the crypto market down, I'm actually looking at other projects and things. And one of the things I will say, if you want to stay in Spain, is you've got to be adaptive. And right now, crypto market's down, I do not want to sell anything. It's a bit like having Google shares at 1 cent. Just because it's not moving doesn't mean I should be selling it. It's stuff I need to hold, as they call in crypto space, hold on for dear life, and that's literally it. You do not sell. There is other things like liquidations going on in the market as well. There was $4 million liquidated today, which automatically comes off an exchange. What happens is, when their margins, because they've been trading on the margins, so say you're 10%, so you've only got 10% of that money, so 90% of it is actually loaned. When it gets to a certain point where you can't cover your debts, they will sell everything, whether you like it or not, because it's above their safety levels. And that's what's happened today. $4 million just got wiped out, where people's debts have been reclaimed by the exchange. But anyway, thanks for watching, and yeah, I'm off to do some maintenance now. I've got to get off here because it's not going to get done when we sat here on the phone. Thanks.